Hi, I'm Theodore. I work at the University Career Center as an outreach PCA, going across campus and making sure you guys know what resources that we offer. Today we're going to be talking about some common mistakes that students put on resumes. One that I want to mention is putting personal information on a resume, putting age, putting height, weight maybe, marital status, number of kids. That might seem weird, but some students do put that. I must say that students that are study abroad here in America usually put that information. In fact, that information is usually crucial on a European resume, like the age and the height, etc. And we don't look for information like that on our resumes. So no personal information like height, age, weight.
Hey everybody, my name is Shannon Lindsay. I work for the University Career Center as an outreach PCA. So my job is to go around campus and to make sure students know about the Career Center's resources. So the first one I'm going to talk about is personal interests / hobbies. So a lot of times students will add an interest section where they add things like they like skiing, skydiving, taking care of their dog, things like that. A lot of times students do that when they feel like there's not enough on their resume, so they do that to just take up room, essentially. So I wouldn't have a section like that. Definitely stay away from things that aren't related to your career per se. So perhaps like if you're a theater major or like a graphic design major, maybe you want to say designing, maybe you want to say acting. So you just want to think about tailoring that to your career. Some students also put in a skill section where they say stuff like leadership skills, management, organization, time management, different things like that. We also suggest that you just incorporate those skills into your experience section, so into your bullet points. But if you are a freshman and you don't have a lot on your resume, it is okay to have that skills section. Just don't overwhelm your resume with that and take it off as you go along.
For me, the crux of any resume is the experience, the information you put in the experience to let employers know what you did in the past so you can help them in the future. We have a lot of students coming in, and in the experience, they start putting sentences. Of course, we have data that shows some employers take about 8 seconds to look at a resume, and if you put information in sentence format, that might hinder them looking at your resume at all. So you want to make sure that you put that information in bullet point form. We have a handy formula that we use to write bullet points in the Career Center. You start with a power verb or an action verb like consolidated, initiated, led, managed. And then we talk about what you did, so include detail about the activity that you did. If you have any data to back up your claims, for example, if you were a sales associate and because of you sales rose 20%, please include that as part of the what. And then you ask why you did something. So what was your end goal for doing something? If you started a recycling program here at UNCC, did you do it to help the environment? Did you do it to clean up the campus? And then if applicable, ask how. So go into the process of how you did certain things. I find that in jobs that students had that were very hands-on, whether it was an entry-level fast food job or a project, if you were an engineering student or a grad student, how is a very applicable question to ask. So the process of how you did certain things. So to summarize, power verb, what, why, and how. So remember, try not to put sentences on your resume and use bullet points using the formula. Now, it is worth mentioning to say that I'm a PR major, and how I was taught is that we actually don't put bullet points in our experience section. We put sentences. So while the PR department may require sentences, the University Career Center says for you to put bullet points. Please double check with your department, with your departmental standards to see if there can be sort of a conflict of interest between the Career Center and that department of yours, whether it's business or engineering.
So our next major mistake is that undergrad students make their resume more than one page. So this is okay. It is okay to have a 2-page resume when you are graduate or above. So when you graduate, you can have a 2-page resume, or if you were in graduate school. But in undergrad, we do suggest a 1-page resume just because employers typically look at your resume from 8 to 10 seconds. So you don't want to overwhelm them with the amount of information because that could deter them from reading more in depth into your resume. You know, they're going through so many, so they're gonna, discard ones that don't look very good, and they're also gonna discard the really long ones because they don't have time to read over those. So definitely condensing your resumes to 1 page. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. So you can make your margins 0.5. You can go down to 10 font and just kind of look at different spacings. Maybe condensing your bullet points. A lot of times bullet points are repeated or skills are repeated, so you don't want all of that information. Also taking out redundant information or like high school, things from high school if you are above a sophomore. The next major mistake is people add personal pronouns to their resume. So these are things like I, my, us, we, things like that. So you don't really want them on your resume, especially in your bullet point section, so under your experiences, and in like your objective or your summaries at your top of your page. So you want to start those things off with action verbs. So things like facilitating, communicating, managing, leading, things like that. And you're also going to tailor those bullet points to like past, present positions.